Welcome to lesson 4 on the advanced range theory, and this paired up with the next lesson on key levels and obviously the one on timer will clear out a lot of doubts and also will help you with not only with viewing past trade in a different way, but with entering new trades. This knowledge is one of the main reasons I have the precision I have, and yeah, I'll go through with you. So first of all, a concept that you may know or may not, but it is fundamental, important. So the market moves in ranges, and trends. Ranges, and by the way, every line is done on purpose. In range and trend. In range and trend. And so on. So every concept, everything you're doing can be summarized in this. Power of 3 is the time aspect linked to this. So range, trend, power of 3, beginning of the candle range, total sub trend below the open. For example, or imbalances, fair value gaps are, occur when the market is displacing in the trend, and within the range, pattern trading will get wrecked, buying or selling every bearish or bullish FVGDC. Order blocks only works in expansion, so trend, consolidation or range is building of interest. And this lesson focuses on how to define a range. So, first of all, for what you see, after every expansion, a range is due, and a range happens when the drawn liquidity is met. So, for example, here, bearish market profile on this time frame, important, on this time frame. So, we have a range, an expansion, a trend, range, trend, range, trend, range, total sub reversal, and the market keep expanding until the drawn liquidity is met. Once the draw is met, we expect what a range to form, and potentially a total sub to continue higher, or a total sub to reverse, or an SMT to reverse down. Because there are two types of ranges. Well, range is one. It is used in two different ways. The one way is continuation, and the other is and continuation simply means that the market makers are interested, and I tell you this on the total sub lesson, to redistribute their orders on higher price levels. So in this case, this is a range, and the market continue in the same direction of before, because the interest in market makers reside lower. Then happens what? Distribution, tops and bottoms. So in this case, this was a distributive bottom, because on this time frame, on this fractal, because the target the market makers had in mind was met, and now the interest is changing to bring price higher again. Okay, so now that you understand the logic, because everything I do is based on logic and narrative, not on pattern, I want you to know how to identify a range. So a range is simply the creation of buy side and sell side. Let's take this as an example. So a range is the creation of buy side and sell side on both ends. And is simply when price is behaving is rejecting both highs and lows inside two defined price levels. There is usually a way to validate a range, and it is by taking its 50%. And one thing you will see over and over and over again, and that proves that markets are controlled, is that the 50% of the range, you can measure it in this case from this point in time onwards, because the high of the range is created here. So once price drop, this is the high, this is the low of the range. And you can measure, like I did, the 50%. But you will see that the 50% is respected even before the actual range is created. This is one of my favorite proofs that markets are controlled. So a range is validated by its 50%, and then one extremity is taken either by a total soup or an SMT, so a total soup on the other asset, to accumulate position. And I posted this because it's really clear: to accumulate position and to redistribute it to 50% other side of the range and potentially beyond. So a range is that. Then I'll get also into 30 later, but for now let's focus on this. Then usually at 50%, a strange thing happens all the time, and this is a trade that can be took on the lower time frames, but it's very advanced. And I take this on AVAX some months ago, when it was moving pretty nice. Now it's a shit, but usually it happens almost all the time. A turtle soup at the 50%, at a neutral level, to bring us to one extremity. And it is very likely that this movement is the false one, like in this occasion. But this is a trade, an advanced trade, because the rule of range trading are buy, or at least consider buying range low, don't buy, sell, or at least consider selling range high, don't buy range high, don't sell range low, and do nothing with price is inside the range. That's why this is an advanced entry, and not every time it can be anticipated. So the safest way is to identify that market is ranging on the time frame you want to trade and engage on the extremity. Then target 50% and the other side of the range. Same thing here, and this is the trade I actually took. Range low, range high, and by the way, another thing is CRT. So I will give credit to this. Sorry, I'm checking my notes. After that, I will tell you how to distinguish a true breakout from a false breakout, because as you know, and if you're trading for this concept for at least 2 months, you've noticed that sometimes a range is truly broken. But I will bring CRT to this. So range low, range high, many times the range low and range high are both of a candle, and the high and low of a specific candle. And not only because it is a candle on its own, but a specific candle. And I mean, in this case is Monday, the Monday candle, specific one, all the week range, Tuesday, reversal. And if you study ICT weekly profile, you know why it was Tuesday to reverse. But it's same. So every single year, also this Monday high, and it's not all the time Monday, just so you know. I will give into this on lesson 6, but range 50%, validation of 50%. So you can't see, more or so it's here. So range, turtle soup, target 1, 50% reaction and 50% turtle soup continuation, other side of the range. It's always the same thing, and the specific candle I was talking you about is not always Monday. It is a logic, and you need to apply it with the higher time frame candle in mind, and that's why I said on lesson 6 it will be clear, but I will give you a hint. Well, in this case it was not I want to find an example. Okay, like this. So this is a daily chart, so think in perspective of the weekly candle. So Monday, range, week above, lower prices, and we bring price to the other side of the range. I took this to here. It is on my Twitter, the one I draw the failure swing. It is on my Twitter. And Wednesday candle, souped on Tuesday. And I emphasize the days for a reason. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Thinking in perspective of the weekly candle power of 3. And answer me on the chat of why this is high probability. So CRT, you need to consider specific candle, keeping in mind the higher time frames, directional bias, the order flow, the current market profile, the state, so ranging, trending, what are you doing, why, the time of when it's happening, what week of the month is this, in this case, what week of the month is this, and those are specific hints. On lesson 6 I will go over all of these topics, but for now, think in this perspective. So by the way, CRT, every candle is a range, and same range trading rules applies to each candle you need to, on the higher time frames you want to focus on. So never buy candle high, never sell candle low, take profit at 50% and opposing end of the candle. Same thing. Now, one of the most important topics, how to distinguish a true breakout from a false breakout. And there are many ways to do that. One thing, probably the most important one, is higher time frame PDRAs, because every single turtle soup happens at an higher time frame PDRAs, and it is rather subjective, but what's not subjective is the time of the purge and the higher time frame market profile or directional order flow. So in this case, let's keep this as an example. No, no, not the trade I'm currently in, but like on the lower time frame, something new. So I'll go like 5 minutes. Okay. Well, this. I want a flashy example, so I'm searching. Okay. like this one. So we have a range, a clear and defined range, so we have a range, Turtle Soup trend, validation of the 50%, check, 50%, see, but also truly respected. Okay, now, price drops faster to the other extremity of the range. How do you distinguish that this is a false breakout and not a true breakout? You keep in mind the higher time frame direction. But even on the hourly, what is the current market profile? Well, let's do on the 4 hour. What is? We are rejecting highs, rejecting lows, because we are on an uptrend, so rejecting lows and breaking highs, and the objective is this high. In this case also we are on a range, Turtle Soup of one extremity, and give to the other side. So we are on a higher time frame directional bias, and I think you have noticed this, but this is also a specific candle, Turtle Soup, and I took this also. Euro is my bitch. I like to trade euro so much, so, and not a random candle, but 9 p.m, 1 a.m. London. So think, you need to keep in mind the higher time frame directional bias, close below, close above, wick above, wick below, ranges, and current market profile. You can go even on the daily and have the same expectation, right? You remember this? So on the lower time frames, if the higher time frame is bullish, every single drop below a low is to buy. And then beautiful retest of range high, also the high that broke the low, broken truly, market profile, basic of market profile. So, also there are other tools to understand a true breakout versus a false breakout. So multiple close below and close above. The high is not a good indication, but it isn't it isn't the holy grail to understand this, because as you see, multiple close below the low of the range doesn't necessarily mean a true breakout. So you can consider this as a tool, a respect to the low or to the high, but generally focus on time of the purge and higher time frame directional bias. And when you are expecting a reversal always happens with a reversal. So market profile is bullish, then every single lower time frame range will be, if market higher time frame direction is bullish, market will continue higher. If you are expecting a reversal to happen, it will always happen at a higher time frame, always with a range below higher time frame key level, or at a higher time frame key level, and this is when a reversal on the lower time frames will happen. And then these are the occasion where you need to have a higher time frame PDRA on a reversal. Otherwise, buy the dips below the lows. and obviously reversed. If the higher time frame is bearish, sell the pops above the highs of every range or every candle in this occasion. And when you're expecting a reversal, you need to have a specific time and a specific higher time frame PDRA. This is always on the time frame you are trading. Hope it's clear. And yeah, this is a rather simplistic lesson, and the next